Royal wedding dresses are usually remembered for their elegance and timeless beauty. But not every bridal gown receives universal praise. Some were criticized for following short-lived fashion trends, others divided opinion because of their design, and a few simply haven't aged as gracefully as their wearers. Today's countdown isn't about judging the brides themselves, it's about the wedding dresses that sparked the most debate among fashion critics and royal watchers. Let's begin. Number 10. Princess Anne's Tudor-inspired wedding gown, 1973. Kicking off our countdown is Princess Anne's wedding gown, worn when she married Captain Mark Phillips in November 1973. While the wedding itself was celebrated across Britain, Anne's bridal dress received mixed reactions that have continued for decades. Designed by Maureen Baker of Susan Small, the ivory silk gown featured a dramatic high neckline, medieval-inspired trumpet sleeves, and intricate embroidery throughout the bodice. The design reflected the early 1970s fascination with historical fashion, drawing inspiration from Tudor and Renaissance styles rather than contemporary bridal trends. At the time, some praised the dress for its originality and regal appearance. Others, however, felt the heavy embroidery, high collar, and oversized sleeves created a silhouette that looked overly formal and somewhat dated even by the standards of the era. As fashion evolved, many critics argued that the gown lacked the timeless elegance associated with the most iconic royal wedding dresses. Despite the criticism, Princess Anne carried the look with confidence and grace, and the gown remains an important part of British royal fashion history. While it may not rank among the most admired bridal creations, it serves as a reminder that even royal fashion can be heavily influenced by the trends of its time. For its divisive historical styling and outdated silhouette, Princess Anne's 1973 wedding gown begins our countdown at number 10. Number 9. Sarah Ferguson's Linka Tirak wedding gown, 1986. Taking the 9th position is Sarah Ferguson's unforgettable wedding gown, worn when she married Prince Andrew at Westminster Abbey in July 1986. The wedding itself captured worldwide attention, but opinions about the dress have become increasingly divided over the years. Designed by Linka Tirak, the ivory satin gown featured enormous puff sleeves, a heavily beaded bodice, intricate embroidery, and an impressive 17-foot train. While the craftsmanship was undeniably remarkable, many fashion critics believe the design reflected nearly every major trend of the 1980s at once. The extravagant styling made it one of the decade's most recognizable royal wedding dresses, but also one of the most debated. At the time, the dramatic silhouette fit perfectly with the era's love of excess. But looking back today, many argue the oversized sleeves and elaborate embellishments make the gown feel more like a product of its decade than a timeless royal wedding dress. Modern bridal fashion has shifted toward cleaner lines, making the design appear even more rooted in its era. Despite its critics, Sarah wore the gown with warmth and confidence, creating one of the decade's most memorable royal wedding moments. It remains an important piece of royal fashion history, even if its style hasn't aged as gracefully as others. For perfectly capturing the bold excess of 1980s bridal fashion, Sarah Ferguson's wedding gown earns the number 9 spot. Number 8. Princess Margaret's Norman Hartnell wedding gown, 1960. At number 8 is Princess Margaret's wedding gown, worn during her marriage to Anthony Armstrong Jones in 1960. Designed by Norman Hartnell, the silk organza gown featured a simple bodice, long sleeves, and a massive bell-shaped skirt supported by layers of fabric. While many praised its elegance at the time, others felt the unusually full skirt overwhelmed Margaret's petite frame. The gown was intentionally minimalist, allowing its dramatic shape to become the focal point. Unlike Hartnell's more intricate royal creations, the gown relied almost entirely on its dramatic silhouette. Modern fashion writers often describe it as elegant but somewhat plain from the waist up, arguing that the enormous skirt created an imbalance that wouldn't appeal to today's tastes. Some believe a little more embellishment could have made the overall design feel more balanced. Although opinions remain divided, the wedding itself made history as the first royal wedding to be televised around the world. The gown remains an iconic part of royal fashion history, even if it isn't universally admired today. For its oversized silhouette and mixed modern reception, Princess Margaret's wedding gown takes the number 8 position. Number 7. Queen Sylvia of Sweden's Dior wedding gown, 1976. Taking the 7th position is Queen Sylvia of Sweden's wedding dress, worn when she married King Carl XVI Gustaf in June 1976. Created by Marc Bohan for Christian Dior, the ivory gown featured a high neckline, long sleeves, delicate lace, and a flowing train. While beautifully made, many critics have argued that its conservative styling lacked the memorable details found in other royal bridal gowns. Compared with more dramatic royal wedding dresses, it was intentionally understated. The minimalist design reflected the fashion of the mid-1970s, but some fashion historians believe it appeared overly modest for such a grand royal occasion. Rather than creating a defining fashion moment, the dress often receives less attention than Sylvia's historic cameo tiara. Even so, many admire its refined elegance and timeless craftsmanship. Although the gown remains graceful and elegant, it rarely appears on lists of the greatest royal wedding dresses. Its quiet sophistication has earned appreciation over time, but it still divides opinion among fashion experts. For its understated design that left some hoping for something more memorable, Queen Sylvia's bridal gown earns the number 7 spot. Number 6, Princess, Märtha Louise of Norway's wedding gown, 2002. Coming in at number 6 is Princess Märtha Louise of Norway's wedding dress. Designed by Wenche Licha, the gown featured a fitted bodice, long sleeves, intricate lace detailing, and a dramatic full skirt. While many admired its craftsmanship, others felt the design combined too many different elements into one dress. The mix of textures and decorative details created a look that some considered overly elaborate. Fashion critics pointed to the layered textures, decorative embroidery, and voluminous silhouette as reasons the gown appeared overly busy. Some believed a simpler design would have better reflected Princess Märtha Louise's natural elegance. Others appreciated its romantic fairy tale aesthetic, proving just how subjective fashion can be. Even so, the wedding remains one of Norway's most memorable royal celebrations, and the gown still holds an important place in Scandinavian royal history. Although opinions remain mixed, it continues to be discussed whenever memorable royal bridal fashion is revisited. For its overly detailed styling and mixed critical reception, Princess Märtha Louise's wedding gown earns the number 6 position. Number 5, Princess Diana's David and Elizabeth Emmanuel wedding gown, 1981. Breaking into the top 5 is one of the world's most famous wedding dresses, Princess Diana's spectacular bridal gown. When Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in 1981, the dress immediately became an international sensation. Designed by David and Elizabeth Emmanuel, it featured dramatic puff sleeves, thousands of hand-sewn pearls, and a record-breaking 25-foot train. It perfectly captured the fairy tale fantasy that millions of people expected from a royal wedding. Although millions adored the design, fashion critics today often point out that the oversized sleeves, enormous bows, and exaggerated silhouette make the gown feel unmistakably rooted in the 1980s. Many designers agree that while it was iconic, it isn't necessarily timeless by modern bridal standards. Many believe the dress has become more famous for its historical significance than for its lasting style. Even Diana herself later embraced much sleeker and more refined fashion during the final years of her royal life, making the contrast even more striking. For becoming both an icon and a symbol of changing fashion trends, Princess Diana's wedding gown claims the number 5 spot. Number 4, Princess Anne-Marie of Denmark's wedding gown, 1964. Just missing the top 3 is Princess Anne-Marie of Denmark's wedding gown. The elegant silk gown reflected the classic bridal fashion of the early 1960s, featuring long sleeves, a high neckline, and a structured silhouette. While beautifully tailored, critics have often described the overall design as overly conservative and lacking a distinctive feature that made it truly memorable. Its clean lines reflected the understated elegance popular during that era. Compared with later royal bridal gowns, Anne-Marie's dress has sometimes been viewed as too restrained, blending into the fashion conventions of its time rather than standing apart. Fashion historians often note that it lacks the dramatic details that define many of history's most iconic royal wedding dresses. Although the gown remains historically significant, it rarely appears among fashion experts' favorite royal bridal designs. Its simplicity continues to divide opinion between those who admire classic elegance and those who prefer more distinctive bridal fashion. For its understated appearance and limited visual impact, Princess Anne-Marie's wedding gown earns the number 4 spot. Number 3, Princess Astrid of Belgium's wedding gown, 1984. Taking our number 3 position is Princess Astrid of Belgium's wedding dress. The gown embraced nearly every major bridal trend of the 1980s, including oversized puff sleeves, a heavily embellished bodice, voluminous fabric, and an exceptionally dramatic silhouette. At the time, it reflected everything that was fashionable, but those same trends have made it difficult for the dress to stand the test of time. While fashionable when it debuted, the design has received increasing criticism as tastes have shifted toward cleaner, more timeless bridal styles. Many fashion historians argue that the gown now feels dated because of its heavy reliance on trends that quickly fell out of favor. It remains a fascinating snapshot of 1980s fashion, even if modern audiences view it differently. Even so, Princess Astrid's joyful appearance ensured the wedding itself remained a wonderful celebration despite later criticism of the dress. Her confidence helped make the occasion memorable, regardless of changing fashion opinions. For representing the peak of 1980s bridal excess, Princess Astrid's wedding gown takes the number 3 spot. Number 2. Princess Alexandra of Kent's wedding gown, 1963. Just missing out on the top spot is Princess Alexandra of Kent's wedding gown. Designed by John Kavanagh, the gown featured a high neckline, long sleeves, intricate lace, and a full satin skirt. While elegant by the standards of the early 1960s, modern critics often describe the design as overly conservative and somewhat matronly. The structured silhouette reflected the formal royal fashion expectations of its time. The heavy fabric and traditional styling lacked the lightness seen in many later royal wedding dresses. And some fashion experts believe the gown aged more quickly than other bridal designs from the same era. Although beautifully crafted, it never became a defining fashion moment in the way many later royal gowns did. Today, the dress is remembered more for its historical significance than its influence on bridal fashion. It remains an important part of royal history, but one that continues to divide opinion among fashion historians. For its dated styling and understated appearance, Princess Alexandra's wedding gown earns the number 2 spot. Number 1. Princess Margaret's Poltimore tiara, wedding look, 1960. Taking our number 1 spot is Princess Margaret's overall bridal look, a choice that has remained surprisingly divisive among royal fashion historians. Although her Norman Hartnell gown was elegant in many respects, the combination of the enormous bell-shaped skirt, minimal bodice detailing, and the imposing Poltimore tiara created a look that some critics felt lacked harmony. While each element was beautiful on its own, many believe they competed for attention rather than complementing one another. The overall ensemble reflected the fashion ideals of its era, but has proven difficult to appreciate through a modern lens. Over the decades, opinions have become increasingly mixed. Some continue to admire the gown's simplicity, while others argue it failed to showcase Princess Margaret's glamorous personality and fashion-forward reputation. Compared with later royal brides who embraced cleaner silhouettes and more balanced proportions, Margaret's bridal look is often viewed as one that hasn't aged particularly well. It remains one of the most debated bridal appearances in royal fashion history. That said, fashion is deeply subjective, and many people still consider the look an elegant reflection of its era. Its inclusion here reflects the continuing debate it inspires among royal fashion commentators, rather than any consensus that it was objectively poor. For remaining one of the most discussed and divisive royal bridal looks in history, Princess Margaret's wedding ensemble takes the number 1 spot. Royal wedding dresses are remembered not only for their beauty, but also for the conversations they inspire. While some designs become timeless classics, others reflect the trends of their era and naturally divide opinion as fashion evolves. Every gown on this list marked an important moment in royal history, regardless of how critics viewed its style. Which royal wedding dress do you think was the most disappointing? Or do you disagree with our rankings? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more royal fashion countdowns. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.